Hello again. I expect many viewers will have noticed that we are currently in the middle of what used to be known as a UFO flap, with images and accounts proliferating on X, formerly Twitter, and also in the mainstream news. In certain parts of America, there seems to be a rash of unidentified aerial phenomena, and in this country it is claimed that UFOs, or mysterious drones, have taken to hanging around American air bases here, places like Lakenheath in Suffolk. I've long been interested in UFOs from a cultural viewpoint, and the present rash of sightings fits in perfectly with past waves of strange aircraft dating back to the late 19th century. These things often seem to mirror developments in modern technology and to change in appearance according to what is going on in the world. They often reflect the anxieties of the age. In America in the 1890s, for example, there were mysterious airships which people reported seeing in the sky. This was at a time when airships were very fashionable and becoming talked about as a future weapon of war. People were a little bit scared of them. The Zeppelin was, of course, a product of such ideas. Many people saw these supposed airships flying over America, and it was speculated that either they belonged to a hostile foreign power, or perhaps they came from outer space, Mars being a popular idea for their origin. Then, in the years following the end of the Second World War, and the beginning of using rockets for warfare, things like the V2s, there was a wave of sightings of ghost rockets, as they were called, in Sweden and elsewhere. Again, these sightings reflected ideas about future weapons of warfare. They were a sign of uneasiness. Now we are seeing strange flying objects which some claim are huge drones. This is happening just at the time when drones are being spoken of as the weapons of the future, and we've seen them being used in attacks in Ukraine and the Middle East. The parallels with the mystery airships and the ghost rockets are quite uncanny. I give a link in the description to this video for a bit about the airship scares in the 1890s in America. What the UFOs which are currently being reported seem to resemble most are drones, which are much bigger and more sophisticated than those we are familiar with. Of course, if there really are unidentified giant drones flying around that have a particular interest in American military bases, then I hardly think that we need to start thinking about aliens as a source. I would think that China might be a better bet. I'm not the only one to think of this, and it's very alarming, of course, because it suggests that if so, then the Chinese are far more advanced in such technology than America. Some of the things being seen are absolutely out of this world, and if the Chinese really are behind them, well then America's in serious trouble. This idea too is nothing new. In the 1950s and 1960s, there was the supposed missile gap, when it was claimed that the Soviet Union had more missiles and better missiles than America, and that they were drawing ahead of the United States in technology relating to such matters. This, of course, led to the so-called space race. I'm wondering if we'll be seeing the new president announce that the Chinese are now a major threat, and that America will need some sort of rearmament program to catch up with them. One curious thing, by the way, which I have observed in some clips of film I've seen, is that some of these UFOs have red and green lights, and that the red lights are on the left-hand side as they travel forward. This is interesting because, of course, it's the same convention that aeroplanes and ships abide by. It seemed to me extremely unlikely that either extraterrestrials or a secret unit of the Chinese military would adopt such conventions, which in turn do make me think that there might be an easier explanation for these flying objects.